Imagine this: you wake up one morning, stumble to the mirror, and suddenly realize you're no longer yourself. Your arms and legs resemble those of an insect, and your skin is now hard and shiny. That's exactly what happens in Franz Kafka's novella The Metamorphosis. One day, Gregor Samsa wakes up and finds himself transformed into a giant bug. But it's not just a physical change, it feels deeper. It's as if his very identity has shifted. That grotesque insect is a metaphor for what Gregor had become in his own life, a dutiful, overworked son who always tried to do the right thing. He was a drained, exhausted employee with no energy left for himself, a man who carried the entire weight of his family's expectations on his back. His transformation reflects the crushing burden of that responsibility. Gregor had one goal in life: to make everyone else happy. Every choice he made, every effort he put in was to meet others' expectations, even if it meant completely ignoring his own needs and desires. But when you spend your whole life adapting, you slowly lose sight of who you really are. Gregor's transformation into an insect is the perfect symbol of self-alienation. Kafka's story reveals how fragile and complicated human relationships can be. Gregor's grotesque form wasn't just physical, it was a reflection of the way he had erased himself for others. He dedicated his life to his family's comfort, carrying their burdens alone. The tragic part? His family became so used to his sacrifices that they saw them as normal, even owed. But when Gregor could no longer contribute, when he became useless, their attitude shifted. Suddenly, he was a burden. It was as if all his years of self-sacrifice meant nothing. Gregor represents the people-pleaser to an extreme. As soon as he could no longer fulfill that role, his family's behavior showed just how one-sided and thankless that effort can be. Sure, you might get a moment of appreciation here or there, but it doesn't last. In the long run, constantly trying to please others is not only unsustainable, it can deeply harm your sense of self. So ask yourself, are you someone who constantly tries to make everyone else happy? Or do you know someone who does? In this video, we're diving into the hidden costs of people-pleasing. We'll explore why being too nice can lead to self-destruction, and by the end, I'll share a few golden tips to help you break free from this exhausting cycle. Stick around. It might just shift your entire perspective. At first glance, it seems harsh to criticize someone who's always helping others. What could be more beautiful than dedicating your life to serving those around you? These people are often admired, loved, and seen as the backbone of their communities. But here's the tough question: is this always a good thing? If you look a little deeper, you'll often find a hidden kind of selfishness underneath these behaviors, not out of malice, but out of fear. Deep down, there's a strong desire to be accepted, validated, and not left alone. In many cases, people-pleasing isn't driven by pure love. It's a transaction. They give in order to receive. I'll do whatever you want. I'll be whoever you need me to be. Just love me, accept me, stay with me. People-pleasers often put others' needs above their own, every time. Their default is to prioritize others, even if it means hurting themselves. Let me give you an example. Imagine a narcissistic father who raises his children not to help them grow, but to reflect well on him. He pushes them to succeed, not for their own joy, but so he can boast about their achievements. Sure, it's normal for parents to be proud of their kids, but in this case, the father's pride is really pride in himself. In his mind, the kids are successful because of him. Their worth is tied to his image. He parades their accomplishments, using them to inflate his ego. And if they fail or fall short, he sees it as a personal embarrassment. In relationships like this, people-pleasing feels like chasing a carrot on a stick, an endless, unwinnable race. Children raised this way often lose their sense of identity. Their values aren't their own. Their worth depends on whether they meet someone else's standards. This creates a heavy internal shadow, as Carl Jung would describe it, full of repressed desires and an ideal self built entirely to gain approval. These individuals often don't even know what they want, their goals, preferences, even their choice of partner. Is it really their choice, or just a reflection of others' expectations? They become copies of everyone else's hopes, not a true version of themselves, and when they finally decide to live authentically, they often have to break down and rebuild huge parts of their lives from scratch. But it's not just damaging to the people pleaser, it can also hurt the very people they're trying to help. Imagine a mother who does everything for her teenage child, cooking, cleaning, picking up after them. She may think she's being helpful, but in reality, she's preventing her child from learning basic responsibility and life skills. What begins as love becomes overprotection. She burns herself out trying to make their life easier, and in the process stunts their growth. It's like setting yourself on fire to keep someone else warm, only to end up burning both of you. So, why do we crave validation so deeply? Well, it goes back thousands of years. In early human history, survival depended on being part of a group. If your tribe rejected you, you were as good as dead. Back then, acceptance literally meant survival. But that was then. Today, in a modern world, one of our biggest advantages is independence. We don't need universal approval to survive or succeed anymore. Yes, in certain settings, like work, school, or relationships, we still have to consider others. That's healthy and necessary. A student needs to do well to earn a grade. An employee must meet expectations to get paid. In a partnership, both people must care about each other's needs. But outside of these essential roles, why do we waste so much energy seeking approval? One of the most eye-opening parts of Kafka's story is how Gregor's family treated him after his transformation. This man who supported them for years, now that he needed help, they recoiled. They distanced themselves. They even grew to resent him. Kafka paints a stark picture of how fragile human bonds can be. Even the people you sacrifice everything for may not repay the favor. Now, let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with being kind or helpful. In fact, compassion is one of the most important foundations of human connection. Almost every major religion emphasizes this, like zakat in Islam, charity in Christianity, or dana in Buddhism. Helping others is a universal value. But here's the key difference. You can be kind without needing to please. People-pleasing is often rooted in fear. Kindness, on the other hand, comes from strength. You can give without giving yourself up. The more you understand who you truly are, the less you'll need others to validate you. If you want to avoid becoming a chronic people-pleaser, define your own goals. Stand for something meaningful. Protect your values. Otherwise, you become a puppet for everyone around you, a bug with no self, ready to be crushed. If you don't know what you want in life, others will decide for you. As the saying goes, for a ship with no direction, every wave becomes the captain. What about you? Have you ever gone out of your way to help someone with no expectations, only to be met with rejection or even disrespect? If you've experienced something like this, share your story in the comments. Let's talk about it. And thank you for staying with me till the end of the video. Your presence means a lot.